One final ingredient, Worcestershire sauce, or that's how they say to say it. There's a lot more consonants and vowels in there than they give it credit for. I say Worcestershire sauce. I bet you it's one of the most mispronounced words in the English language. But if you ask Siri, how do you pronounce Worcestershire sauce? She says,
Worcestershire.
I don't believe her. You never can trust her. Well, hey everybody, and welcome to Hunter Gatherer Channel. And today we are making everyone's favorite after deer season treat, snack, or staple. I don't know what you'd call it, but a lot of people love it. And if you read the thumbnail or the title video, then you already know. But we are making venison jerky today. Deer season's over, Christmas is over, New Year's is over, Valentine's Day is over this year. Usually we get it done before then, but we didn't this year, and that's okay. But for the last 4 years, we've been saving, every year we save the big pieces of hind quarter muscle and save that to the side to make jerky. So that's what we're gonna do. And this is just some of the items that you're gonna need. All these ingredients for this particular recipe. We have a meat slicer. I don't grind mine up and then use a jerky gun. I don't like that. I like the tried and true bite it and rip it jerky. So this is gonna be just straight lean venison that's been sliced on the slicer. We'll show you how to do that. We have a dehydrator. This one has a little fan in it. You can get the super fancy ones, or you can get the one that just has the electric coil in the bottom. That is what you're going to need to dehydrate the meat. And then you need some ingredients. This is a recipe that we've been using for about 4 or 5 years now that we really do like. And it's got a little bit of everything in it. So these are the ingredients here, and I'm going to break down the recipe for you later on. But you'll have ground black pepper, you'll have crushed red pepper, Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, honey from the Kernan's Honey Farm. That's the best stuff around in our house anyways. Onion powder, garlic powder, cayenne pepper. If your 9-year-old daughter at the time is helping you and she's super excited and you let her put the cayenne pepper in it, be ready to experience the pain, because you know she went with the heaping spoonfuls instead of just, and it was hot, but I liked it, and I got to eat most of it because nobody else could handle it. So that's one way to get to have all of it to yourself. Teriyaki sauce. Oh no, that's not it. Teriyaki sauce is over here. Teriyaki sauce. This is soy sauce. This is liquid smoke. Some brown sugar, and this is maple syrup. And this is our local favorite from Harvey's Maple Spout right here in our local community. So they make a great product. Here's the venison that I have. I have 17 pounds of venison. What you really want to do with this meat is have it completely thawed out and then flash freeze it for about 20 minutes while you are working on your marinade. Now, I'm going to show you the marinade here in a little bit, mixing it all up together. The recipe that I'm giving you, I'm going to triple it. That'd be enough for 15 pounds. I have 17 pounds, but I'm pretty positive it'll still be enough. So these I'm going to just start taking apart, and then I'm going to go through it. I've done most of it already. I don't know if you can see here, but it's super clean. I might come through and take like this little chunk off here. Just, you don't want any fat on it. When people complain about like a wild or gamey flavor, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, the reason is the fat of the animal is, there's still a little bit of fat on there, and the fat usually is what produces the gamey flavor. So you're going to want to get as much fat off of here as you can. I'm making a triple batch of the jerky brine. I've been calling it a marinade, but it's a brine. We all know it. So this is triple of what I gave you in the ingredients list. So what I've got here is 6 cups of Worcestershire, 4.5 cups of teriyaki, and I'm going to put a little bit into this cup to get some of the goodies there. Alright. There we go. 9 teaspoons of liquid smoke. 3 cups of soy sauce. 12 teaspoons of onion powder. 6 teaspoons of garlic powder. Cayenne pepper, I put that in about half of what we initially did. It's supposed to be 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. The last time we doubled it, we only still did 1 teaspoon, so I did just a little over 1.5 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. 12 teaspoons of black pepper. And it's kind of coarsely ground, semi-coarse. Sea salt, but I used the Himalayan salt. It is 3 teaspoons. And I got a workout grinding both of those. My arm was starting to get a little tired. Red pepper flakes. It is 1.25 teaspoons or tablespoons, sorry. And I went just a little over 3. So I didn't, it was supposed to be 3 3/4, but I went with like 3 1/4. Brown sugar is 12 tablespoons. And I'm going to kind of work this just a little bit. Now, once I get done putting it all in here, I'm going to whisk it some. I just don't want to put a huge clump in there. And the last 2 things are honey at 6 tablespoons, and then maple syrup at 3 tablespoons. How many did I say? 3. One, 2, 3. Honey, 6 tablespoons. That's 6. So we're just going to mix this up a little bit, and then I'm going to put this to the side. And while this is sitting on the side, I'm going to get the meat out. I've got some in the fridge that was still semi-frozen, and the stuff that was thawed all the way out I put in the freezer just to flash freeze a little bit. So I'm going to get that out, and I'm going to start working on slicing some of the meat up. I have the brine made, and I have the meat all trimmed up, and now it's time to start slicing. This slicer is not a commercial slicer. It is a Black Friday Walmart special, and it has its limitations, has its issues. You know, it's not perfectly square at the blade. The guide kind of is sloppy, but it works for what I need it for. I'm not selling sliced meat out of the house or anything like that. So it pretty much just has this glide here. I usually spray it down with a little bit of olive oil or something so it slides a little bit smoother. And then I just go for it. When you slice the meat, I go with the grain. Meaning if you look at the muscle fibers, you can see how they run the length of the muscle. And I'll cut the same way with it. You can put it a little bit of an angle if you want to. It can make it a little bit easier to chew, but you still want it to hold together. If you go with the grains going this way and you go perpendicular, straight across, that's the way you would do with like a steak, or that's the most tender it will be. So But you really don't want to go that way, because if you think about it, when you cook a roast or when you cook a steak, it can kind of just want to fall right apart. In the jerky, I want it to stay in sections. This piece isn't completely frozen, but I'm going to go ahead and run it through now just to see how it does on a piece that's pretty cold. It has a little bit of frozen in it, but some of it's completely thawed. I'm just going to try it out. So the slicer definitely makes quick work of it, and it cuts, makes it pretty even cuts, and it lets you get through a big piece of muscle quickly. This is what the meat looks like after I flash froze it. It's just a little firm on the outside, but it's still soft on the inside. So that's going to really help in the slicing of this meat. And if you can see in this, the grain is going this way, so I'm just going to keep slicing it that direction. "17 pounds of meat is all sliced. I've got the big bowl here. I've got the marinade / brine ready to go. I'm just going to put a little bit in the bottom here before I put the meat in, and then I'm going to kind of just try to get it all in there. So these are the kind of slices that does, and if you can see, the grain is going along this way. I don't know if you can tell in the camera or not, but it's going this way, and so you'll be able to bite onto that and rip it apart. And they're not all perfect slices, but they're pretty darn close. A lot better than I could do with a knife. And so we're just gonna get these laid in there, and that brine's gonna soak into them and really flavor it up. Now I'm going to put this in the fridge overnight. Really, I'm probably not going to be back to it until midday tomorrow. So it's going to be close to an 18-hour soak. It says to let it sit in it overnight and then go to town the next day. Go ahead and put it in the dehydrator or in the oven. It says the oven is at like 170 degrees. Dehydrator, I'll see what I'm gonna run it at tomorrow. I'll let you guys know. You can actually do it on your smoker too if you have one, which I do, but it's pretty cold outside and it wouldn't work as well as I would want it to. So I'm going with a dehydrator. A lot of people love jerky, especially hunters, but they won't attempt to make it because they think it's too difficult or too expensive. Now you don't have to go run out and buy a $500 dehydrator or a $500 meat slicer. You can use a knife, and you can even use a bamboo skewer to skewer the meat and hang it in your oven with a cookie sheet underneath it. We're not going to use that method today. As you see, we have many different dehydrator options here. These two are the same, and this one is just a little bit different, but they have the same tray systems. Just you can lay your meat across this tray. It allows the heat to come up through and the air to circulate. And it also has this center hole where the heat can circulate up through each rack. These outside two, they don't have a blower on them. It has this heat coil on here that just gets hot and allows the heat to rise. And then it has this lid, and you can select how much heat you want to come out. By spinning this, you can close it off halfway or have it fully open. Now this model here, it has a temperature setting, and it has a on-off switch for the temperature and for the blower motor. There's actually a fan in there that helps it circulate. Now this one also has a heat setting, and it has trays that are kind of the same. Just has holes in it so the air can circulate up through, and there's 10 trays in this. And it also has a drip pan in the bottom that can catch all the juices that they go down through. Now you guys all saw this earlier, well, last night, but just a couple minutes ago in video time. And it's all been soaking in there for about, I think, like 20 hours. And you saw last night it was nice and red, and now it's brown. It's a little change of color. Now this is what I do. What you want to do is you're going to want to pat this dry and kind of get it somewhat dry before you put it into the dehydrator. So I'll take it and I'm just going to put it, I have this colander, and I'll put it in there first and let it start to drip out of that. And then once it sits in there for just a little bit, I'll dry it with paper towels. The meat's been sitting in the colander for a little while and it's drained down through. So now I take it, just kind of open it up like I would be if I was doing the jerky, laying it out, and I'm gonna just lay it across this paper towel. I have a paper towel on a cookie sheet, and I'm gonna lay this all out. Now I did say, it's not super expensive and it's not difficult, but it is time consuming to do these steps, and I think it's worth it. But maybe some other people are just fine with buying from the store, and that's fine too. I do that once in a while, but it's just kind of nice to think when you're eating it, I made this stuff and it tastes great. So I would suggest maybe not using 17 pounds on your first try, maybe doing 2 or 3 pounds, and go from there. And depending on how much you eat is how much you should make. So I'm laying it down on there, and then I'll take more paper towels and kind of pat it down. And that's how I go about drying them off to get ready to put them in the dehydrators. Now that I've dried them off a little bit, I just take these grates out and start filling it up. And I try to keep it to where it's got a little bit of air between each one. Kind of like making Christmas cookies or something like that, or whatever you're making. Just try to use up as much real estate as you can, but not have them touch, so that way the air can circulate between them. I decided to just run 3 dehydrators, and as I thought was going to happen, the bigger one is running faster than the others. And this one, I always have to go in and take the bottom 1 or 2 off and move them up and continue rotating them because they'll cook faster. I'll show you. This is the one I just took off the bottom. You can see how it's getting pretty well cooked. And this is one that is kind of in the middle. And obviously it's not drying up that fast. So got to continue to rotate them. And I figure what I'll probably do is as these ones finish, I'll start rotating some of this jerky into that dehydrator. It says to cook them at 160 or 170, somewhere in there. The highest this one goes is 160. And to cook them at that temperature for 5 hours or until the jerky reaches 160 degrees temperature. But the problem with that is I've used a meat probe and it doesn't give you a good reading. So what I do is I'll just get into here, and as I look at them, I'll feel them and bend them a little bit. This one's really close, but some of them, this one is really close, it's pretty thin, but some of them are thicker, and you can tell they're pretty
they're still pretty wet on the inside. So I'm gonna just go through and babysit these and keep an eye on them, and it might be a late night. There it is, everybody. Got 6.5 pounds of venison jerky out of the 17 pounds of raw meat. And we've been eating a bit of it already, and I figure I better package it up before we just eat the whole bowl. So my game plan is vacuum sealer. There's many different brands out there. This particular one is a Food Saver Game Saver Wingman. We bought this last year because our other one had worn out. It wasn't vacuuming as well. I don't know if it's got a vacuum pump that was kind of going. So we got a good deal on that one. So, but the plan is, these are a little bit smaller than a quart. And I'm not sure yet what weight. I like to just kind of, I mean, I'm not selling it or anything, but I kind of like to just get an idea for the weight of it. So if I'm just going to grab a baggie for myself to take somewhere, let's just see. That's what, 3.5 ounces. I just looked up Jack Links. They had, I think they were like 2.5 ounce or right at 3 ounce. It was $5 a bag of it. So anyways, what I'm looking at right now, maybe 4 ounces for these smaller bags. That's about right. And then just pop over here. Make sure this is all the way in. And lock it in. And it's sealing now. And I'll come back after I've got it all packaged up and let you know how many packages we got. The other thing that I want to tell you is that I had that brine for the venison jerky, and I figured we'd put the money into making the brine. I might as well do more than just one batch with it. So when we got done with this venison, got it all out of there, I poured the brine into another container and put it back in the refrigerator. And then I went and bought a top round of beef. I think it was a 20-pounder. And we cut off what wasn't the most lean portions of it. And then my father-in-law came over and gave me a hand with that because he's a butcher. And I've never really messed with beef too much. So he sliced that all off, and then we cut it into sections, threw it in the freezer, and did the same thing as we did with the venison, but a little bit neater pieces. So I have a second round. I did 10 pounds or 11 pounds of beef, and then the rest of the beef I just ground through my meat grinder. So that's a nice package there of 4 ounces of jerky, and we got a ways to go. That is done. And that would be 4-ounce package number 25 of venison. So that's the jerky video. Let me know in the comments below what you think, if you liked it or not. I think you could do less of the brine and maybe even run through like 3 different days where you use the same brine over and over, but you don't want to use it for too long and have it grow bacteria. Make sure you keep it in the fridge. And I can't tell you how long it'll last or keep. So I would say I wouldn't want to do it more than 3 batches if you're going to do it that way. Just being cautious. Like I said, I've got 6.5 pounds here and probably another 4 pounds maybe of beef jerky. So I think it was pretty good, cost effective. When I looked up Jack Link's, if you bought the 1 pound thing, it was $16 for a 1 pound bag. So that I think we did pretty good doing it ourselves. We got 6 pounds here, so that's $96 if you'd bought the 1 pound bags from Jack Link's. So pretty happy with that. And got 25 bags and maybe another 20. So we've got almost enough to eat 1 bag of jerky a week till deer season again. Okay, everybody. Well, I just want to thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you will continue to come back for more. We do a little bit of everything on the channel, and this is just one of the things that we do with venison. And so gave you a little instructional video on how to do jerky. Thank you for coming to watch and taking time from your busy schedule to watch the video. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you'll make your own jerky. Give it a shot. It's not that hard, and I think just about anybody can handle doing it. So give it a try. If you haven't, if you'd hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and maybe even leave a comment, that all would be awesome. We'd really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and we will see you on the next one. Hopefully, if you have an idea of something that you'd like to see a video on, we could give it a shot. Well, that's it. We love you, and God loves you, and we will see you on the next one. Enjoy, and if you make your jerky, I hope it's great. See you later. I just wanted to show you the end result. 25 packages of venison, 20 packages of beef. Anyway, that's it. That's the haul, and good luck on your own. See you guys. Worcestershire sauce. Hey everyone, and welcome to the, I said hey everyone.
And then you said welcome to thy.
Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. Worcestershire. This is terrible. Worcestershire. How do you say it? Worcestershire. We're gonna make everyone's favorite after deer season treat, and that is, well, you already saw it in the
Thumbnail.
title. Come on, Jason. How do you say this?
I'll look it up.
Yeah. How do you say Worcestershire sauce? She says
Worcestershire.
you need to be closer to the camera. It's way back there. It's got to be like right here. Boom. All right, let's do it. That was pretty good.
Yeah, but she took forever.
One last ingredient. Worcestershire sauce. That's how I say it. I believe they say Worcestershire, but there's a lot more consonants in there than they give it credit for. And I believe it's probably one of the most, what did I say?
Mispronounced
Word
words.
in the English dictionary, in the English language.